Okay. Good evening. Thank you very much. And I want to welcome everyone to this week's Sentinel. The Sentinel is the media arm of Citygate Ministries International, and I'm Reverend Cyril Okere. Right. May I first apologize for this late starting? We were 7 minutes late, and um, okay, so sorry about that. We got caught up with something. It's my daughter's birthday today, special birthday. So just yeah. So I had to start myself from order to do this. Okay. So I hope you understand. Thank you very much. Right. I want to kind of revisit and conclude on the topic we started the two no not 2 weeks ago before the Easter celebration, and that was the title was the food chain of corruption, and I want to kind of wrap that up, just conclude on that, and okay. So as usual, those of you who are here, please feel free to contribute. Feel free to add to uh, what's happening to me. I'm just kind of, yes, you help me to flesh it out. When we talk about corruption, what the Bible has to do with that, it is quite uh, is not exhaustible. You can just it's not what you can just exhaust within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sessions. The Bible has a lot to do with to say about the corruption that actually resulted from the fall of man. Okay, uh, it's interesting when man fell. Remember what God told Adam and Eve, of course. By extension, the day you eat of the fruit, the day you eat of this fruit. In fact, yeah, I said by extension. He told Adam and Eve, directly actually. He said the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that day you die. And they ate it. Of course, they did not die physically that day, but something happened. They died spiritually, and they got disconnected from the source of life, God Himself. So corruption set in, which of course we see eventually culminated in their physical death and their corruption and decay. But there was a decay sets in, or corruption sets in their social interpersonal relationship, obviously social relationship. Yes, because it was Adam and Eve then. Uh, that they are the four parents of mankind. So every human was in them. The Bible says, yeah, in Adam, all died. So every human being was in Adam, and they inherited. We all inherited that fallenness from Adam. What the Catholics call original sin. So corruption set in. So what we see later was the outplay, the artwork or artworking of the corruption that started the moment they ate the fruit that the for the tree God said they shouldn't eat from. Right. So we see that first of all, their relationship. Adam blamed Eve for what happened to them, to mankind. Eve blamed the serpent, of course. But there was this thing, the that unity within man and wife, between Adam and Eve, that God intended, whereby they were meant to be naked before each other, not ashamed. ship setting. And I was wondering, if I was telling my wife, I said, why were they, if they were the only two people in the world, on earth, the only two people, and they were a couple, what were they ashamed of? Why did they need to cover themselves up with fig leaves? Something has happened where it almost like I described as some level of self-loathing. You look at yourself, you are not satisfied with who you are. You are not satisfied with what God has made you as, or made you to be. You hate yourself, and of course from there, you lash out, you attack the other person, almost like you project that self-loathing on another person. Hence the friction between person to person, interpersonal friction. In fact, the Bible tells us that conflict in James, that where does war and this conflict come? It comes from within ourselves. So interpersonal conflict results from uh, intrapersonal conflict. So we not happy with ourselves. We have this dissonance within ourselves, and so we can't sit with it. You can't resolve it, and so we take it as another person and find them. We sense a sense of lack. Say, you are the one that made me, to lack, to experience this thing I'm lacking, this lack that I'm experiencing. So I lash out at you, and you lash out at me, and that hence we have battles. And this ranges from interpersonal skirmish, quarrels to community clashes and inter-ethnic clashes and international, clashes, as we are witnessing today. Um, yeah, in the Middle East and other places. Corruption. So you begin to ask, what actually is corruption? Um, that's a there's different ways to define it. Sometimes when we talk about corruption, particularly with the what was it called? In societies, in countries, and they say the corruption. Oh, look at that politician is corrupt, that person is corrupt, and so maybe they've stolen money or they've used their offices to acquire some advantage for themselves and for their families and friends, and then that's corruption. But one of the things I've always said, particularly during the time of Nigerian, when the Nigerian president, the former president, immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, um, he came up, he came to power touting anti-corruption slogans. He's here to fight corruption, and so on and so forth. So he's known as someone who fought corruption. But I did question, his claims. I did question those who support him. I said, look, let us can we have a good definition of corruption? Can we just look at, define it, and then so that we know what we're talking about. The fact that somebody did not take money, and I'm not saying that his government, did not embezzle money. They did, in fact, seriously, massively. But the fact that somebody does not do that does not mean that doesn't necessarily mean that they are not corrupt. Because this government is known for, and I'm not talking politics here, but I'm just talking about what is obvious. Where they violated a lot of the constitution, they disobeyed the rule of law. The law meant nothing to them. They just did something and violated the court orders and all that. So then is that not the start of corruption? When there's a law, there is a rule that says you should do this or not do this, and you violate it, egregiously, flagrantly violate that rule, and then of course from there any other things happen. Any other thing can happen if you violate the rule that holds everybody in check, that regulates everybody's behavior. You spoil it, you ignore it, you rubbish it. Then you open the space for all manner of evil and anomalies to thrive, and that's what we see in my country. Uh, So issue of financial corruption becomes, just merely a byproduct of that initial violation, initial corruption. That's the root of corruption, is violating the rule of law. God says to Adam, don't eat from this tree. Adam, he went to eat from that tree, corruption sets in. So when down the road, chapter 3 of Genesis, we see um, Cain killing his brother Abel. That's an offshoot of corruption. And later on, we saw a man called Lamech. It was basically boasting how he killed somebody. And he said, well, if God could forgive Cain, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think, what about me? So, and so on and so forth. By the time we get to chapter 6 of Genesis, of Genesis, in fact, let us read what God says there. Okay. Genesis 6. Okay, let's just see. By the time it got to just the fall happened in Genesis chapter 3. 4, 5, 6, 3 chapters down the line. It says, verse 1, now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all they chose. In fact, I will skip that. Yeah. Yes, verse 5. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Corruption. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the earth, both man and beast, creeping things and the birds of the air. I am sorry that I have made man. So, you see, so by the time we go to chapter 6, it's the wickedness of corruption has set in, so that, and bred wickedness among people, to the point that God regretted ever creating man. No, he didn't regret creating animals. Man, his crown of creation, the one that he made in his own image, mankind. Verse 11 said, the earth also was corrupt before God and was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. Can you see that? Can you see that? Look at just these two short verses, 11 and 12. Saying that the earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon earth, and indeed it was corrupt. For all flesh, that's all humans. It's not talking about animals. All humans here had corrupted their way on the earth. From that single disobedience to the rule God gave, God's commandment. So when in a society we is particularly somebody in a strategic position, yeah, the head of state, head of different parts of the country, for example, like governors or heads of judiciary, people or judges, okay, or head of people at the top echelons of the military or police. They set the tone. They set the tone of what happened in the generality of the polity, or the ministry, or the sector that they occupy, or they preside over. heads of families, fathers in particular, or mothers, heads of institutions, the professors and VCs and lecturers. So when we know what we should do and we deviate from it, there we break the rules guiding that place. We interfere, we interrupt, we compromise the integrity that should hold that place wholesome, healthy, and intact. So before you know it, all manner of aberrations begin to spin off from that initial violation. So that's why when somebody says, "Oh, if I don't steal money, we're chasing those who steal money, never mind what they are stealing," and say that, "Oh, they are fighting corruption," and they violate the rule of law. That is the worst type of corruption. I just want to put that out there. I just have something like it says here. Say corruption can have several negative effects on the society, including undermining the rule of the law. That's the first one. The first one. What is this? It's called it's an article. It's an article. I don't where is it? I just saw it on the website. I don't know where. Okay, let me know. Okay, I don't want to lose it. It says it starts with undermining the rule of law and the legitimacy of government. When a government rigs election, for example, and say they're coming to fight corruption, it cannot happen. Because they don't have the legitimacy. It can't. Jesus said that Satan cannot fight against Satan. The kingdom of the devil cannot fight against itself. If it does, it won't last. It says creating an environment. It creates an environment where crime. See that crime involves killing, stealing, bribery, different kind of things. So those things that we call corruption, then they are the offshoots of the primary corruption when the laws are not respected by the people in power, people that have privileges in the society. They create an environment where crime and bribery flourish. They discourage foreign investment and they damage economic growth. They erode public trust. Oh God. In institutions and they fuel social unrest. I'm describing Nigeria. I'm sorry, guys, for those of you who are not Nigerians. As I'm reading this, that's what comes to mind. We have social unrest. You have people killing people. We have children being kidnapped from schools, abducted in their hundreds from schools. We have, people being killed and lynched here and there. We have ritual killings. People who are using people's human parts to make money or to gain power. We have all kinds of demonism and diabolical practices. We have just sheer wickedness. People get angry and kill each other and pour acid on each other and husband kill wife kill husbands, children kill parents kill children. We have all manner of inter-ethnic conflict and hostility. We have all manner of talk about bribery, corruption, and ripping off, hoarding, and oil bunkering, and it's as a result of initial corruption, of breaking the law, interfering with how the process and how things should be. Okay, I just wanted to go there and just lay that for foundation so that when we talk about corruption, we know what we are talking about and from where it starts. So before you start chasing people for bribery, okay, which is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We know itself. But please, as you chase people for bribery, chase the people that made it possible for the bribery to take place. Chase the people who opened the door for the thief to come in. Because it was a deliberate act. Chase the people who see evil, because of their position, because it favors them, it favors their friends. They turn blind eye and allow evil to thrive, and then only to punish so, the same practice somewhere else. Chase them. I know. I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry to go specify to Nigeria, use Nigerian social political situation as an example. Okay. Example. We have a situation where the past central bank governor of Nigeria is in custody. Yeah, and well, they try for different things. Whatever they said he did when he was in office. And yes, there are things that he did that again, without prejudice, without kind of preempting the outcome of the trial. Well, I'm not a lawyer. I can't. Yeah, there are things, probably things that okay, safer to say that. There are probably things that he did that were terribly wrong. And therefore, yes, it's right for him to face the music, to face the common parts of whatever he did. But you cannot tell me that the head of state, Buhari, the head of state, was there, that what he did was he was totally oblivious and unaware of what Emefiele did. That's the name of the then governor of Central Bank. That he was so you arrest him on one hand, and he's facing trial, and he's being dragged from pillar to post. Meanwhile, Buhari, his boss, under whose command he operated, is free, walking about. That is this whole system then is a corrupt system, and you cannot establish righteousness. You cannot establish that you cannot build a nation that way, because it's not a firm foundation for building anything sustainable. I'm saying that the people who, the higher you go, the higher your privilege, or the more your privilege, and the higher or more strategic position you occupy, the more you should be held responsible for whatever goes wrong in that system. What's the how they say it in English again? To whom more is given, more is required. Yeah, Bible says so. To whom more is given, more is required. I think an English adage says greater privilege demands greater accountability, something like that. Anyway, let me leave that. So we're talking about the food chain of corruption. How to still have corruption once it's unleashed and people participate in it. It's just a dog eat dog situation that it creates. Dog eat dog. And generally the stronger person is the one that's weaker, and the weaker person look for another somebody who's even weaker than them to feast on. It's an e-win that does no one any good. That's why that little primary school rhyme we used to chant in Pidgin English in those days. Motor jam police jam dog. Dog bite mama, akara mama throw away. The domino effect of corruption is so debilitating, is so corrosive to a society. And I weep, and I think I look at my country. That the corruption has reached a stage where intellectuals from the citadels of learning participate in it wantonly. It has reached to the stage where the religious leaders, whether they are Christians or Muslims or whatever, the traditional rulers, religious leaders, promote, participate, applaud, condone, revel in corruption and wickedness. Judges participate in it. Professors, vice chancellors, professionals, bankers, accountants, medical doctors, engineers, they're all smeared in this vice. Legislators, I mentioned judges, lawyers, the justice system, judiciary. Everywhere you look, heads of parastatals at federal, state level, local government councillors and leaders. It's just eating like cancer. Corruption metastasizes. It spreads, and from the hair to the bone to the marrow to every vital organ of the society. The poor are not excluded. We need the poor who should be crying, deliver us from crying that want to get free from the clutches of corrupt leaders. No, they participate in corruption at the grassroots level. In the villages, is there. People take advantage of each other. It's anarchy, it's mayhem. Almost like for people to wake up and be able to eke out a living, they have to think of somebody to take advantage of, to kill, to steal from, to deprive, of. So where do we turn to? And yet, we still clamor for a better society. We want to we want to run away to a society that's more organized. But we participate in the things that have ruined our own countries. So who will bear the cat? That's psychopathy. Is that people don't care anymore. They don't care. Human feeling is gone. They say, they say somebody who is wicked and a sociopath or psychopath. They say this person that didn't was not not on the make of humankind. That they don't have the make of human kindness. In my language, they say this person, was he breastfed at all? Was he breastfed? Did he suckle the mother's breast? And he said there's a deep meaning in that statement. Did he feel the warmth of a mother's love and nourishment? And got nourishment from that. Know whether they can do something to people and not better die. So, but the question is that it has become rampant. It's a general thing now. People just do it. Don't. You check social media, see what people do to people. People just take advantage of people. It's interesting that Genesis chapter 1, 1, 2 say that woman created, and God gave them authority over creation, but God not tell them to violate each other, or dominate each other. But they should cooperate, complement each other and all that. So after the flood, of course, the food they were available to them were fruits, fruits and good fruits and all that. Then you now go to after the flood, later in Genesis. God gave Noah and his children, household, and from there on, it's not just his household, but his descendants, the permission to eat of, eat meat from clean animals. So that's why we started eating meat. Okay, but God never said eat each other. God did not say you should cannibalize on each other. But it has got to a stage where people eat just each other. In fact, some people a lot of people eat, a lot of places, people eat human flesh. There's no reason why anybody should actually eat human flesh. For what? For what? And no degree of hunger that will allow that. Can you imagine killing somebody or buying, whatever you get from human flesh from, and then cutting it in pieces, frying it or toasting, or roasting it or whatever, bring it out and say grace, God bless this meal, people. Anyway. But more symbolically, people feast on each other, eat, cannibalize each other in different ways, stealing from them, taking over their property, depriving widows and orphans, cheating people, destroying people's labor and effort. Some places, government agents demolish and leaders demolish people's property on flimsy, based on flimsy reasons. Not because someone is a political opponent, just send bulldozers to pull down their houses. I mean, those who defiantly build on where they shouldn't be built, where they shouldn't build on, that's a different case. Yeah, can be demolished, but they violated the rule of the game. But again, you have to ask questions: who permitted them? Did anybody approve their building plans? Did anybody approve whether they accepted money and did that, or they just do it? So you see, you have to hold people in government responsible, people in power responsible, more responsible than the people at the front end of the whole situation. Let me refocus myself. I read a scripture from Proverbs 28. Let me get it again. I think I've lost it. Proverbs 28. It basically says 28:3. It says a poor man that oppresses the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaves no food. So when it's bad enough, terrible enough that the powerful people, rich people, are oppressing the people who are under them. For the poor to oppress the poor, then what are we talking about? What's our model of morality? It's like you are crying that you are being oppressed, and then you extend the same thing to people under you. Other people who are working for you, people who labor for you, people who are like your house helps. you oppress them. Say you are like a sweeping rain that just leaves no food. It just devastates the farmland and just destroys everything. Let me see this another one. Okay, let me end there. Now, if you think about the way it works, we gave an example of the servant in Matthew 18 last week, about the servant who was forgiven much by the master, one of Jesus' parables. And then the one that was forgiven saw another servant who owed him money, pittance in comparison. And he cruelly held him down, by the scruff of his shirt and said, look, you have to pay me, otherwise, he threw him in prison. And of course, he got his own, his wickedness boomeranged back on him when his master that had forgiven him much heard about it. That's an example of a poor person oppressing the poor. But we do other things. There are other things that we do that is akin to that. And things that God condemns. God warns against taking advantage of the vulnerable. Okay. In Proverbs 22:22 it says, do not rob the poor because he's poor, nor oppress the afflicted at the gate. Don't take advantage of the poor. Don't take advantage of the oppressed. I said it last time that yes, you might be Bill Gates or Elon Musk or whatever, one of the richest people in the world, but compared to what compared to what God has, you're still poor. You're very poor. So in other words, all of us are poor. All of us, humanity, we fallen from grace. In our fallenness, we are poor. The richest of us is poor. There's always somebody poorer than you or richer than you. Both richer and poorer than you. So if I, in my opulence, in my prosperity, in the area that I'm strong, I oppress the poor, what goes round comes round. There are people who are more prosperous than me, stronger than me, who oppress me. And it will be hypocritical for me to turn to God and say, God, please save me from this. Save me from this people who are more powerful than me. If God should save the people that are more powerful than from my hand, do you know where I would be? Do you know where I would be? I'm praying that God should deliver me from my people who are stronger than me, who are oppressing me. And I'm oppressing people who are weaker than me, who are more vulnerable than me. And I'm praying that God should deliver me. If they cry that God should deliver them from people who are stronger than them, who are oppressing them, where will I be? Think about that. Think about that. I said that in some respect, all of us are poor, and all of us also are in privileged position, because, and that's important. It is important to know, and that's, we see God did it in such a way that we can be independent. No, not independent, interdependent. Because the strongest man is not strong in every aspect of his life, every dimension of life. No. There are areas where he was weak. Okay, for example, if let's say King Charles, pretty powerful man, has some health challenges currently, and is going to hospital taking treatment. Who do you think is treating him? Who do you think, if he has to undergo operation, will wheel him in and out? Will inject him? Will prepare him for whatever surgery he had to undergo? Is he a royalty? No. Who cleanses? Who will cleanse his clean his environment, whatever maybe room he's staying to recover? He's a cleaner. A cleaner. I call him a poor cleaner. In my country, they say, no, come on, who are you? Who is your father? Common cleaner. But he's the one that will clean. If that cleaner does not clean where King Charles is being treated, some opportunistic, giants will take advantage of his vulnerability and wreck his health. We are interconnected and interdependent. So just like God will tell King Charles not to oppress that cleaner or people under him, he also tells that cleaner, who might not be earning much, not oppress King Charles, who's vulnerable and dependent on him in some sense. You understand what I'm saying? We all have blind spots. Now, in the book of Deuteronomy, let me read this. Deuteronomy 27:18. I'm looking for the right version that I like to use. Okay, look at this version. Say, cursed is the one who makes the blind to wander off the road. All the people shall say, Amen. God was giving this, through Moses, giving this kind of like pronouncing the curse, and on people who will do this in the new nation they are imagined to be and the new land they're going to occupy. Nobody should take advantage of the blind and lead the blind astray because they can't see. Maybe say, curse is he that does that, and everybody say, yeah, amen. Now, do you misguide the blind? Another version says, curse is he who misleads the blind person on the road. A blind person that is vulnerable cannot see where they're going. They're vulnerable, and they're at risk of being knocked down by a cat. And then they ask you direction, and you, for whatever reason, you guide them away deliberately. It's a curse. Now, a blind person is someone who can see. What about someone who can see, have your eyes intact, but in some way you are blind, or in some way they are blind? In some sense, they cannot see. We have blind spots. There are things they don't know, they are not aware of. Maybe they don't know how to balance their account. They are new in the land, and they don't know how to negotiate around, buying and selling. I remember when I went to Togo, we took a naira there. We don't know the exchange rate, and you go there. No, we've changed it already. We changed it, but you don't know. You still don't know. We're not familiar with the currency. When you buy something, just open your hand. The people they just pick what they pick the amount, the price they're charging you for. They just pick it and then give the rest to you or give you change. Sometimes we overpay, and they were honest. They were relatively honest. They will give us the right. Okay, this is the right amount. Okay, they know. They thank God for God bless those people and their lineage. They didn't take advantage of us like some people would do. Some people, you go somewhere, they see that you are a foreigner. They hike the price. It's like misleading the blind because they don't know. They are blind in that area, so you take advantage of them. And call that profit. You call that profit, use it to feed your family. Oh, is that not why we're seeing some disasters in families? Okay, let me not go there. Now, I'll soon finish. So there are areas where we are vulnerable. Every one of us. when we are blind? What about people who are not around? Sometimes, okay, you're not around, you're not around, and they're sharing something, and because you're not around, they cheat you. Causes anyone that misleads the blind. See, modern societies, progressive societies, are societies where the vulnerable are looked after. They organize their society in such a way that the poor, the orphans, the widows, the strangers, the disabled, they are catered for. God enshrined that in a law. God put in a system, to take care of the poor and needy. Say that when you're farming, or when you're harvesting your crop, don't harvest around the edges. Leave it for the poor, for the passerby, for the stranger, for those people who have no access to any means of sustenance. If what you're harvesting, if any of your crop, whatever, falls to the ground, don't pick it up. Leave it for those people. Praise God. Let me see if I have people here to. I'm running up now. I know. Hey, okay, Okere, good evening. Good evening, Ernestine. I'm also describing Sierra Leone. Yes, it's all in different parts of the world. Africa is the worst, and perhaps that's why we are where we are. So may God awaken our conscience. Yeah. God bless you. Lawlessness is the root cause of corruption. Yes, man must have boundaries. I agree, Olayinka Okere. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah, anyway, I am just wrapping up this subject now. So corruption, yes, it does. When we do it at one level, we repeat at another level. That is a food chain. And in as much as none of us is perfect, none of us is totally strong, none of us is totally wise, none of us is totally rich. So what goes around comes around. Now, God bless you, Ernestine. Yeah, and last thing I will say here is this. I want to say the last thing I will say is this. Okay. Before that, let me read the scripture. Psalm 41:1 says, "Blessed is he who considers the poor." Consider. That word consider is interesting. It's interesting. Blessed is he who consider the poor, the weak, the vulnerable, the invalid. You consider them in their low. Mary prayed. Say, God remembered her in her low estate. Do we remember other people in low estates? Blessed. You're blessed if you remember the poor. Those vulnerable, groups. And in the sense that all of us are poor, in some sense, all of us are vulnerable, we should remember each other. We should consider each other. We should, we should be considerate to each other. Yeah. And remember, it's more blessed to give than to receive. The story of Naaman in the Bible, Naaman, the mighty general, but his hands and Achilles healed, and that he was a leper. 2 Kings chapter 5. He was a leper. He conquered wherever, for it to be a general, It's a way we conquer this place, conquer that place, mighty man, privileged, rich. But he was a leper. But he's at this point of his need, that the area of his weakness, there was a young girl, a slave girl, captured from his campaign against Israel, captured from that place. A young girl, we don't know her name, but she considered Naaman in his poor state of being leprous. Maybe she she didn't even had the opportunity to approach and address Naaman directly. She just whispered to Naaman's wife, saying, "Look, if my master will go to Israel, you know, uh, no, talk about the Elisha, Prophet Elisha, he'll be healed." This little girl, young girl considered this mighty man in his poverty. Okay. So every society that's making progress, they organize themselves to take care of the poor. They just um, if we don't, any society that does not want to do, is not prepared to do this, will just eat itself up. Corruption will corrupt the system. We create a corruptive system. A corruptive system will keep corrupting, and everybody's corrupt, and everything is corrupt. Every institution is corrupt. Church, state, judiciary, everything corrupt, and you find out, like the Bible says, wickedness, how do you say it? Righteousness exalts a nation, the sin is reproach unto any people. May God help us. I think I will leave it here. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you very much, every one of you. I remember Cyril Okere, and you'll be listening to the Sentinel. We have other things we've done. Let me see. Yes, you can find them on our YouTube channel, Citygate TV, and our website is citygateministries.org.uk. Yes, email address then is info@citygateministries.org.uk. If you have anything to tell us, you can leave us a line on that or at that address. Thank you very much. God bless you, Ernestine. God bless you, Ika. All right. Au revoir. Bye.